Okay, guys, we're going to do the intro here for week 13. So, week 13 is we're going to start something called perspective. And so, what this is essentially this is a way that we can draw things and we create the illusion of distance and making things look three-dimensional. And it's a very common practice that's used, and it's a very good thing to understand, right? So let me just give you like a basic example of what it looks like, and then I'm going to explain the assignment. For this week, we're going to take this in steps because a lot of you have probably never done perspective before. So there's actually three types of perspective. There's 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point. And so what we're going to do is you guys are going to follow a video and do a simple example of each one that you are going to turn in. So just to explain what perspective kind of is here, we have something called a horizon line. So this is just a horizontal line that goes halfway across the paper, and basically it separates the sky from the ground. So everything above it would be up in the air, everything below it would be sitting on the ground. And then in 1 point perspective, we have 1 point on the horizon line, and this is called a vanishing point. And it's called the vanishing point because it's the point that as objects get farther away, they converge and actually would start to disappear. Because when objects get farther away, they get very small, right? And so what you can see in this image, this is just an example of basic blocks or cubes drawn in 1 point perspective. And you can see the ones above the horizon line, they look like they're floating up in the air and you can see underneath them. The ones below look like they're sitting on the ground and you can see above them. Okay, so here's a more practical image that uses 1 point perspective. So this is something you can see in real life, by the way. So if you look down like a long street or a long highway, you will see that the highway lines will eventually converge. Even though that we know that the road lines in real life are parallel, visual perspective makes things converge and get kind of closer together, and they converge at that vanishing point. So this should be an example of like a 1 point basic like city drawing here with some basic buildings and a road on it. Okay, so that's just the brief overview of 1 point. 2 point perspective, it's the same thing, except we do two vanishing points. So we're going to have a vanishing point on the right and a vanishing point on the left. I should double back here really quick to just basic 1 point. So the way you draw in 1 point, and you guys will be doing this, is you start by drawing a shape. So let's say you draw the square as your starting point with just vertical and horizontal lines, and then you take the corners, and the corners kind of get drawn back towards the vanishing point. So that's how 1 point perspective works. 2 point perspective, you do not start with a shape. You just start with a vertical line. So you kind of start with like the front corner of the object. So if we were drawing this one here, we start with the front corner, and then you take the top and bottom of that line to both vanishing points. And then what happens is you cut it off with vertical lines on the right and left side. So if you look at this one here, this vertical line is where it started, and then you draw two lines to the right vanishing point, two lines to the left vanishing point. And then if you have a top or a bottom edge, you take that new corner here and you go to the opposite vanishing points that way. So just by looking at the examples, you should be able to kind of visualize and see which vanishing points the objects are using. Okay. Here is a more complex example of like a city street corner. But now this is done in 2 point perspective. So we have a vanishing point here and a vanishing point here. So the road itself would only ever use one vanishing point, but the buildings are using two. So this building here you see has the corner, and then it's going to this vanishing point here, and then the left side goes this way and this way. Okay. Then we have 3 point. Now 3 point is a little bit more advanced, so if it confuses you, don't worry about it. Just follow along on the demo video and try to get the one drawing done, but you won't have to do 3 point for like your big project for this one, but I just want you to like see it. So 3 point, it's similar to 2 point in that we have our horizon line and we have two vanishing points, but then instead of starting with a vertical line, we would have basically a vertical vanishing point that would be up above or down below. So here we've got this third vanishing point down below. So instead of just drawing a vertical line, the lines are actually going to go down to that bottom vanishing point. You could also do the vanishing point on top, and it does affect the viewpoint of the image. So if you see here, here's a 3 point perspective with the vanishing point on the bottom. When you put the vanishing point on the bottom, it's more like a bird's eye view. It makes you feel like you're up in the air looking down at the building. So you can see here all of the building corners are going down to that vanishing point instead of being vertical. So if I were to draw this building, I would start with a line going down to that vanishing point, and then we go right vanishing point and left vanishing point. and then we just draw it how we would. I feel like if you get a really good understanding of 2-point perspective, 3-point isn't that much more difficult. It's just replacing the vertical line with a line going to a top or bottom vanishing point. Here's another example. Now this one we have the top vanishing point. So what happens here now is we get what's called a worm's eye view. It's like we're really low to the ground looking up at an object. So if I wanted to draw a building and make it look very tall and intimidating, this could be a good way to draw it. But once again, our horizon line is actually down here at the bottom, and then we have a left and a right vanishing point, and then instead of a vertical line, we are just using that top vanishing point. Okay, so that's the rough overview of what 1, 2, and 3-point perspective are. What you guys are going to be doing is I have a link to some demo videos that I recorded. So you're going to click on this. It's going to take you to YouTube. Okay, and then I have 3 videos here. So we have a 1-point demo, a 2-point demo, and a 3-point demo. And you can see each video is roughly 20 minutes a piece. Okay, and now I know the video is going to take you more than 20 minutes because the idea is you're going to watch me, you're going to pause it, and then draw the lines with me. So the expectation is we have a 3-day week this week because of Thanksgiving. So my thought is you do this video Monday, this video Tuesday, this video Wednesday. So I would like these 3 drawings done by the end of the week. Do 1 video per day. And when you draw these, I would prefer that, so on the videos, I'm going to be drawing it in like a digital program. I would prefer you draw it like on hand with paper. So just use like normal 9x12 paper, and then you just need a pencil, a ruler, and eraser to do it. If you don't have access to that, or you prefer to draw it digitally, I suppose you could do it digitally. What I did put on D2L, and you have to go to the content tab to get to this one. I didn't link it at the front. But if you go into content and you go into perspective, I have a link at the top here. This is a digital app for drawing perspective. You can use any app that you want to, like if you know a different one, but this is just a really basic, it's like the really old MS Paint. But all you do is you just use this line tool here and you can draw straight lines with it. So this is a tool you could use if you had to draw it digitally, but I would prefer you actually draw it with like physical pencil and ruler and paper, right? So once again, try to get 1 video done per day. I would like these done by Wednesday. And then next week, we are going to do a more difficult, we're actually going to do like a detailed 2-point perspective house, and that's going to be your main project. So let me know if you guys have any questions. And if you guys are still missing older assignments, remember you can turn those in. If you're at Brainerd High School, don't forget to come and see me, ask me for help, come to my win, all that good stuff. If you are online only, don't be afraid to email me or call me, or we can set up a Google Meet or something if we need to. So I just want to make sure you guys get the help that you need. So just let me know if you need anything, and we'll see you on the next one.